Ala Hazrat Fazl Barelvi rahmahullah, Imam Ahmed Raza Khan, Quddus Sirrul Aziz, he was following the previous awliya Allah and muhaqqiqeen, ulama and sulaha and awliya Allah, where he got the inheritance of love and inheritance of the status of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Sharia. One of these personalities he mentions very frequently in his fatawa and in his book Malfuzat and in other books as well, is the personality of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh rahimahullah from Maghrib, from West. In his books you find he very much mention of the reference of the book At-Tariqatul Muhammadiyya Al-Hadiqatul Nadiyya, which was written by Imam Abdul Ghani Nablasi, who was follower of this path. And essence of love came from these true mashayikh. This Qasida Burda, you read and listen. Do you know who wrote it? Who was that person? Mawlaya salli wa sallim da'iman abada ala habibika khairil khalqi kullihimi Muhammadun sayyidul qawnaini wa thaqalain wal fariqain min urubin wa min ajami. Who was written? This is like now in India subcontinent, like we read the salam of Allah Hazrat. It's very famous salam of Allah Hazrat. Like in Arab world, it is this Mawla ya salli wa sallim da'iman. It is equal to that status. But who wrote it? He was one of the mashayikh of Shaykh Abdul Aziz Dabbagh. Imam Busiri is the Khalifa of Shaykh Abu al-Abbas al-Mursi, who is the ancestral Shaykh and teacher of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh rahimahullah. So it coming from, he was from Morocco as well. Imam Busiri was from Morocco, but he then migrated to Egypt. He is also from that mashayikh of Tariqa Muhammadiyya, Qadariyya and Shaziliyya, which then Ala Hazrat Fazl Barelvi rahmatullah alayhi took further as well from his mashayikh. As you listen, he had ijaza in 13 different spiritual orders. 13 different spiritual orders. Not only in the famous 4, but 13 spiritual orders. This Dalailul Khairat which you read, with the major work on Durood Sharif, which is famous after Quran, this book is read very widely. Dalailul Khairat, which has Durood Sharif of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Salam, and whole of the world, east to west it is written. Who was it written by? It was one of the mashayikh of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh, Imam Jazuli, who lived in the same city as Shaykh Abdul Aziz Dabbagh. So all these forms and poetry of love which reached India, which reached the Indian subcontinent, came from Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani's students and their students and their students to actually the east, to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And Ala Hazrat Fazl Barelvi rahmatullah alayhi was presenting nothing else other than the teachings of these awliya, teachings of these mashayikh, teachings of these sulaha. मैं अल्लाह हजरत का आशिक हूँ, कब पैदा हुए? अच्छा वो तो नहीं पता, कब पैदा है वो तो नहीं पता, कितनी उम्र थी, कहाँ रहे, अबाओ अजदाद कौन से थे उनके, ये तो नहीं पता. ये अजीब इश्क है. It is a strange kind of love. So a person should know. So Sayyidina Ala Hazrat Fazl Barelvi rahmatullah, look very carefully, especially the young people. I'm going to present some of his teachings. One thing to know about him, why is he known? Because he defended the Muslim belief of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah when they were in danger. Whole in India, one person stands out for this. He was a person who was like fana, extinct in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam love, who would not tolerate any deviances or any little change which actually tarnishes the status of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was very fierce, not only in all matters of Sharia, he was very fierce. And he never mixed or never compromised. Although he said that people say bad things about me, that is good. He said that is good, because I have become the time they spent saying bad things about me, they won't say anything to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His ancestors came from Kandahar, and for a lot of you, maybe you don't know, he is descendant of one of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. आप एक सहाबी, एक रवायत के मुताबिक एक सहाबी रसूल की औलाद में से हैं. He is one of the descendant of one of the companions. His name was Sayyidina Hazrat Qais radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Qais radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the sahabi, the companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the great grandfather of Ala Hazrat Fazl Brelvi, whom they migrated to Afghanistan in early for Dawah and their descendants. Then Afghanistan, his great grandfather Hazrat Saeedullah rahmahullah, he migrated. He was the first person to, after him, migrated to Lahore, India. And from there they came to where he is now. He lived and he actually was buried there. He studied 21 traditional Islamic sciences under his father and mastered over 50 traditional sciences, most of which were, he said, poured in his heart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only Islamic sciences, but professors of mathematics used to solve their mathematical problem from him sometime. And he was such personality who could write with both hands. And at one time, some say it is his karama, कि एक ही वक्त में आप दोनों हाथ से लिखने पर कुदरत रखते थे on different topics. It is a strange thing. A person cannot think. One have one mind. How is it possible to write with both hands on different topics? Well, that is. And he was such a person who will be dictating fatwas and guidance to 10 people at one time. You write this, you write this, you write this. Different people, different subjects, and he'll be dictating them one by one. And his memory was so strong, he would know what he has said last to him on different books. And the translation of Quran, he didn't write like this. He just dictated it. He was just saying it as it was coming to him. Hazrat Shah Ali Rasul rahmahullah, a grand sheikh of Qadariya silsila, he took 13 different orders and ijazas from him. This is basic biodata of him. He went to his first Hajj at the age of 22 years old. Look at that. When people used to go on foot and actually on camels, 22 years of age. So this is inspiration of youth. Many people are waiting that they will go old, about 60, 70, then they'll go on Hajj. No, you are young. You go on holidays to Florida, to Paris, to here and there. Why not save money and do your fard Hajj? His way, his method. What is his method? His manhaj, first thing, love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Before anything and everything. He didn't like people respecting him. But today I say, I am Shaykh, kiss me. Astaghfirullah. That was not his path. That was not his way. If I'm his follower, I'll be following his way. His way was actually different in that for himself, he was humble, but he will honor and kiss at the hands of other ulama and Sufiya and Ahlullah. Other thing, he never accepted any money whilst writing a book or actually for a speech. पूरी जिंदगी में आपने दीन की खिदमत पर, किताब लिखने पर या तकरीर पर कोई पैसे नहीं लिए. Because he said, my wage is upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they are pleased, that is my greatest wage. And it is written in his seerah that even in the beginning of his life, ibtadaan aap nazrana bhi qabool nahi karte the. And then you look at today what people are doing. Astaghfirullah al-azim. That they are making money out of selling deen. And one person came and offered his money. Hazrat, ye paise le le और मुझे तावीज़ लिख दिया. आपने फरमाया हमारे यहाँ तावीज़ बेचे नहीं जाते. आपको तावीज़ बेचने वाले, सितारों का हिसाब लगा के बताने वाले और नजूमी टाइप बंदे जो आज आप देखते हैं, जो बाज़ लोग कर रहे हैं आमिल, वो आपका ये तरीका इस तरह नहीं था, क़त्अन आप इसके बहुत खिलाफ थे. So his manhaj was love of Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and defending the honor and noble of the noble Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what are us? Sleeping at the time of Fajr. And his status was, in spite of he being so ill, he said, the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells me it is his sunnah to pray with Jamaat. So 4 people will carry him to actually pray with Jamaat. Today many mosque committees complain that in many mosques I've gone actually, and the Imam is not actually there. When he's on holiday, although he is living here in the same city, he does not care for Jamaat. Hazrat Fazl was against that totally very much. He said the Ulama are the heirs of Anbiya alayhimus salam, and they should represent them fully. These days people, his fatwa, he tells people have changed rules in Sharia, and he didn't change rules in Sharia. For example, he says that the people who are doing this type of qawwali like this, it is done today, with music, he wrote a whole book that it is haram, it is haram, it is haram. No matter a big kutab, say a person, I am a kutab or I am a wali, he is doing it, still it is haram. So today's qawwali, be it Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, be it on any channel, I challenge them that actually with the hadith and the fatwa of Allah Hazrat, it is haram to listen to the music, except daf, any harmonium, and his. And he said that these people will be punished greatly who accuse the mashayikh of Chishtiya of doing this. Astaghfirullah al-Azim, he said. He said these people on the day of judgment, they accuse awliya Allah of Chishtiya, Hazrat Khaja Mainuddin Chishti, Hazrat Nizamuddin Awliya, and the Hazrat Qutbuddin Bukhtiyar Kaki, and Hazrat Friduddin Ganshakar, of that these Chishtiya mein jaiz hai, ji Chishtiya mein jaiz hai, Chishtiya silsile mein nahi, ek hi silsile mein wo jaiz hai, wo shaitaniya silsila hai. These are devil disciples, that those people who are doing this, and actually and they are actually accusing even awliya Allah of doing this. See, I'm not saying this from myself. This is teaching of Allah Hazrat, and he wrote one of his whole book on this topic, and then he quoted Hazrat Nizamuddin Awliya, Fuaidul Fuad, and actually other mashayikh of Chishtiya. Hazrat Nizamuddin Awliya, who was a very early teacher of Chishtiya, he said that this is ilzam, this is accusation on our mashayikh. They never actually did a qawwali like this. Their qawwali was like naat and hamd without music. That was their qawwali. I am not criticizing anyone. I am criticizing actually the person who actually goes against Sharia in the light of the teaching of Allah Hazrat. अब कहीं हमारे पीर साहब बजाते हैं, भैया आपके पीर साहब जो है वो शरीयत नहीं लेके आ सकते. You have to follow. Allah Hazrat ने फतवा दिया हुआ, उलमा आपको बताते नहीं, जो खुद सुनते हैं वो कैसे बताएंगे. मुझे पास है, मैं बताता हूँ, उनको भरा हुए फतवा उनसे, उनके नज़दीक ये है. That is, according to him, beard, one fist. He said that was his teaching. He followed Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu very strictly. And he said, whoever have short beard, namaz is not jaiz, it is wajib to actually re-offer that prayer. आप तुझे कई इमाम हैं, वो अपना वो भी आप इसी तरह वो कह रहे हैं हम बेलवी हैं, हम सुन्नी हैं, नाम उनका और काम जो है वो दूसरों का. एक जमात है जिनके नज़दीक दाढ़ी छोटी को कोई हर्ज नहीं, लेकिन अहले सुन्नत वाल जमात हनफिया के नज़दीक और आला हज़रत फाज़िल बेग के नज़दीक कोई गुंजाइश नहीं. लेकिन कहते हैं यहाँ आप मुझे हाजी कहें, मैं आपको पता है नमाजी ने अपनी नमाज नहीं पढ़नी, वो इमाम को नहीं पूछते, इमाम उनको नहीं पूछता, भाई सभी जो एक ही हैं. लेकिन आला हज़रत फाज़िल बरेलवी रहमहुल्लाह was actually not a person like this. He was very clear, crystal clear.